I have maybe a handful of specimens that just don't seem to want to grow. So if you're going to get mushrooms, just get nice ones. Because if you have nice ones, then even if they do kill your other coral, you're not going to feel too bad about them. Hello my friends. It's been a while since my last frag tank update. So in today's video, we're going to do a quick look at how the frag tank is doing, and we're going to check out some of the coral. Real quickly, before we get started, this is a channel all about the reef aquarium hobby. This is not just zoanthids and LPS. I do have a lot of videos on acropora and various SPS as well. If any of this interests you, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, as it doesn't cost you a thing, but it really does help me out. So here's a look at this tank. It measures 5.5 feet wide, 2 feet deep, and it's 15 inches tall. For a total water volume, I would say about 100 gallons. It is currently being lit with this Photon 48 V2 Plus from Reef Breeders. And this one light does kind of cover the entire thing, mainly because I do have coral that have different light requirements, so I can mix and match. Last thing is that this tank is plumbed into my main display tank. So if you like to see what's in the sump, please check out my reef equipment video. I'm gonna have it linked in the description below. And if you like to see what the main tank looks like, I've got plenty of videos of those. Check it out in the description, or you can click on my profile, on my channel profile, and it's gonna have everything in there. The first thing I'd like to talk about is that I'm having some issues with this tank. So I'm going to go through a few issues today, and hopefully some of you experts can help me out. Give me some direction here, because I'm having a hard time. I can't really find information on the forums. The first thing I'd like to talk about are my acans. So yes, I know they are now Micromussa lords. However, most of us in the hobby still refer to them as acans, so I'm going to do the same. So they're all doing most of them are doing really great. However, with acans, and I've had this issue for a while now, I have maybe a handful of specimens that just don't seem to want to grow, and in a lot of cases, they seem to be receding. And this isn't a really fast recession. It could take them months to recede. So it's like they're hanging on, but for some reason they're not doing well. So things I've tried so far is I've tried to dip them in an iodine solution. So part iodine, part tank water. However, that doesn't seem to be doing anything. And my hopes with doing that is that I was hoping that if there was some type of microorganism issue, some type of bacterial issue, that the iodine would fix that. So maybe I'm dealing with something that is resistant to iodine. If you guys have any idea why some of my acans, so if you look right in the middle there, like there are two of them that they're hanging on, but they're not growing and they're slowly receding. The next thing I'm having trouble with is this colony of alpha omegazoas. If you look to the left and to the bottom there, you'll see that I've got some sponge that's growing with this colony. Now this is a sponge I've been battling for a couple of years, and I just can't get rid of it. And if you look on the forums, all they say is expose them to air and they will die. believe me, I've tried that. That's not worked. I've tried hydrogen peroxide, and I've used a toothbrush as well just to try to scrape it off. And unfortunately, I think that's how it's kind of spreading throughout the rest of my tank. Little bits of it will survive and just get moved. So I do have a rather big colony in my display tank right now. And if any of you have any idea how I can deal with the sponge, please let me know. I understand that I think Jake Adams has a video on how he's been battling some sponges, but unfortunately I can't find that video. So I don't know. I really don't have any technique looking online. The only other thing I've found is people will use a syringe and inject hydrogen peroxide into the sponge. However, I've already tried it with this guy, like maybe not injecting it, and maybe that's my problem. Anyways, let me know what you think. If you've been following this channel for any length of time, you'll know that I don't do well with zoas. When I was first starting out, if you look on the forums, a lot of people say zoas are a beginner coral, and my experience has been contrary to that. That being said, I finally decided that I have 4 or 5 zoas that do okay in this tank. So I decided, maybe now's the time to hop in and try a few more types. So I did make an order a few months ago. And I don't know the names of all these, but I know in the top left, that's Candy Apple Reds. And then towards the middle right, I got Sunny D's. And below those are Yodas. But I just want to show you guys. So this is how the zoas are doing. They seem to be doing okay. And then I got more down here. Inevitably, I did have a number of them not do well for me. And they're in the process of kind of receding, and I think they're melting away. But the rest of these are looking pretty good. Next, I'm going to show you the top-down shot of the tank. This is on the right side, and you can see on this side it's a bit dimmer. I've got my nice mushrooms in there. I just want to say one thing about mushrooms. If you're new to the hobby and you're adding them to your tank, just be aware that mushrooms are really strong and prolific. So they do multiply pretty easily, and because they're strong, if they touch any of your other coral, there's a good chance that they will kill them. So if you're going to get mushrooms, just get nice ones. Because if you have nice ones, then even if they do kill your other coral, you're not going to feel too bad about them. On this side is most of my Bowerbankis. And I've also got my nice Blasto colony here. This is the only Blasto I currently have. And then there's various zoas just spread out throughout the tank. Oh, I've got a small chalice section here. But next we'll move on to the euphyllia. So this is being shot under a more full spectrum light. So you're not really going to see the fluorescence that you would normally see if I just took this under blues. But what you should see is more of a fuller color spectrum. And then now we're moving to, this is the top rack. And so on this top rack, you can see I do have a lot of SPS up here. And this is the first colony that I moved over. This is, I bought it as a rainbow millie, but it wasn't doing so well in the display tank. And now, of course, I have changed some things, including dosing nitrates, but it's actually doing pretty well in this tank. It had some holes, it's healed up, and I do see some polyp extensions. So I know in general, in this tank, if you take a look, especially with this acro here, this is my red Diablo, and you can see there's some yellow and some green. What that coloration tells me is that the par in this, even on this top frag rack, it's a bit low. Now most of these guys are doing okay, but I can, if I wanted to, I can increase the lighting intensity. The only issue is, of course, I do have a lot of other types of coral in this tank, and some of them don't want the light to be too bright. So it's kind of a balancing act right now. And there are my zoas that I showed you earlier. Here's the Space Invader Pectinia. And then I've got a bunch of jack-o'-lantern leptos here. Here's some Montes that I've had for forever. So in general, the Montes are doing really well ever since the nitrate dosing. Here's a shot of the front, the bottom racks. So here's just a bunch of frags that I made last week. And then here are the acans, which I kind of showed you guys earlier. As always, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Again, it would really help the channel out, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. Please take care, and I'll see you next time.